I'm just gonna make sure that we're good to go on the live. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everyone. I think we're live. I can't see the screen right now, but we're gonna check right here real quick. Really excited for this 3-day boot camp with you guys. We got a lot of stuff that we're gonna cover, and I know all this information is gonna be super relevant to you guys and your journey, your struggles, your challenges right now. And if you have any questions as we're going through any of this information over the next few days, drop them down below, and at the end of each day, we're gonna have a Q&A and make sure that we get to as many questions as we can.
Exactly. So like Kyle said, we are really excited for this boot camp because we are gonna be sharing some really powerful stuff with you guys that we wish we had had when we first started our agency 3 years ago. So we co-founded our chatbot agency together and then started SchoolBots as well. So if this is the first time you're watching us live or officially meeting us, Kyle is our CEO at SchoolBots, I'm our CMO, and we're gonna be your guides throughout this boot camp. Now before we dive into this, I wanna mention that don't worry if you end up coming in late or you can't fully see everything on here. We're gonna send you a worksheet containing everything we go over today on the whiteboard right after this in your email and chatbot. So make sure to check that around 12:30 p.m. PST. I also wanna mention before we dive into this stuff, because we're gonna jump right in, guys, no fluff for you, really direct, concise, so that you can get the most value out of the next 30 minutes. I wanna mention that the 4 models we're gonna go into for the way that you can position yourself in the chatbot world is going to be for ongoing services except one of them, and that's gonna be consulting. So we'll talk about each of these, but just make sure to frame it in your mind that everything we talk about in terms of money or how many people you're working with, that's gonna be on a monthly basis and usually for ongoing services where you're serving clients on a monthly basis. All right, so with that, let's dive into it. And if you're joining us right now, drop a hashtag live. I can see all of you guys are here. Awesome. Alrighty. So the first one we're gonna get into is the DIY agency. Now this is what Kyle and I did when we first got started, and maybe a lot of you guys are in this same boat where maybe you're a solo agency owner or you've got a co-founder like us, but you guys are planning to do everything yourselves in your business. So if you are by yourself and you wanna do this, then I'm gonna go through right now the average deal size that we typically see, what we did in our agency, as well as what our students are doing right now.
Yeah, all of the data that we kind of accumulated in order to kind of give you guys this information has come over our own experience over the last 3 years. We have tried each one of these models ourselves, but as well as our students. We've been teaching SchoolBots now for a little bit over 2 years, which is kind of crazy to think about. And so we've been able to extract some of that data that we've seen our students go through and how they've kind of gone through their journey with the different business models. And so that's where we've kind of come up with these averages, and all the numbers that you're going to see today is through all of that data.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to right now dive into average deal size, how many people are going to be managed under you, how many clients, remember on a monthly basis, and your role, right? Your specific role. You are watching this right now, what you're going to be doing on a day-to-day in the business. So first off, for an average deal size, this is going to be about $2,000, remember, per month. So this is going to be a monthly retainer that your clients are paying you, $2K a month. In terms of people, since it's going to be just you, or if you have a co-founder, then maybe you guys are managing each other, but this is typically going to be 0. Now, number of clients, typically the cap that we see is about 5 clients a month, and we're going to talk about what you could actually be earning on a monthly basis after we go through this whole chart. And finally, your role is pretty much doing everything, right? In the easiest way to say that possible, like you are pretty much doing everything inside of your business, and this is the boat that we were in as well when we first got started. So if you currently see yourself as a DIY agency, drop a hashtag DIY in the comments and let us know. Now, in order to transition from being solo and doing this, which is great if you're just starting out and you want to have more of a lifestyle business, but if you're ready to scale this business and this agency to whatever limits you want to take it, then you're going to need systems and processes.
Yeah, keep in mind that when you're at this solo level, you're not necessarily having to document all of the processes. You're not necessarily having to build out systems and really track everything through control charts because you're the only person in your agency. These are people who maybe you're a stay-at-home mom who just wants an extra $5,000, $10,000 a month so you can spend more time with your kids. Maybe you just graduated from college and you don't want to scale up an agency, be making $50,000 a month. You're okay with making $10,000 a month and you want to be able to handle everything inside of your business. That's going to be the solo or DIY agency. So let's kind of go through a little bit of a little macroeconomics class real quick here, just to kind of get you guys to understand what a control chart is and how you can kind of use them to go from this level to the next level. So if you guys don't know what a control chart is, they're pretty simple. It's going to come down to 3 basic parts. So what you got first is the lower control limit. What you got in the middle is the standard deviation.
AKA the average.
Yep, and what you've got up top is the upper control limit, right? So this is just a way for you to go about tracking what you do inside your business and the progress that you have and how you can either increase or decrease the amount of money or clients that you take on every single month. So for a DIY agency, let's say that one client a month is the lower control limit, right? So if you aren't servicing at least one client a month, that means that you most likely have to have another job or another stream of income to provide yourself rent, food, just basic life expenses. If you don't get one client a month, that means that you're gonna, again, have to be finding revenue in other places so that you can continue to live and survive as a business. And the upper control limit, let's say, like we said here, DIY agency, you can only take on 5 clients a month. Anything that you go over that, you're not going to be able to properly service those clients. You're going to be having too much work to do. Those clients won't be happy with you because you won't be able to communicate with them effectively. So 5 clients is going to be the upper control limit for your control chart here. Now the standard deviation, let's say, is something like 3, right? During any given month, you might be servicing on average 3 clients at one time. Well, the only way to move these lines up and turn this into the lower control limit, we can remove this lower control limit now. This now becomes the standard deviation, and then now you've got a new upper control limit of, let's say, 10 clients. So now you're servicing on average 5 clients a month. You can take up to 10 clients a month, and at bare minimum, you need to be servicing 3 clients a month. Well, how did we make that move? How did we shift our standard deviation from 3 to 5? The only way to go about doing that is to add more people to your agency, right? To make it so that your role in the agency changes, so that you become kind of like the master of systems, and you're documenting processes and hiring people so that they can execute on those processes, so that you then have time to grow as an agency. So this is pretty much the way that you move from the DIY agency to the team agency, is going to be hiring on those people so that you can move those upper control limits, those lower control limits, and those standard deviations up accordingly.
And we're going to share that with you guys in the worksheet that is sent out right after this live. So don't worry if you were like, hold on, wait, I need to go over that 5 more times. It's all good. We're going to make sure to share that with you so you can really drill that into your head, so tomorrow you're ready for when we dive into a little more of systems and processes.
So now let's go into an agency team. This is an actual agency, or the traditional agency model that you might be thinking of, right? So this is more of, let's say that you want to play a CEO role, or you want to play a manager role, or you want to be the master of your own system. This is going to be where you want to be right here at this agency team. This is where you're actually hiring on bot builders, you're training them so that they can service your clients, you're hiring on sales guys and training them so that they can be sending out chatbot value videos and going through your prospecting methods, so that all you have to do as an owner in this point is manage those systems. You might hear the phrase often, and quite frankly, I don't really like this phrase anymore, but you might hear it often where it says, I want to work on the business, not in it, right? Well, if you want to be a really, really good agency team or agency owner, kind of like how we are these days, you need to be the master of that system, right? So that's why we think that a lot of times it's good to start out at a DIY level where you're doing everything yourself, so that you can really master these systems and processes. You know how to go inside of ManyChat and service clients through bot work. You know how to prospect effectively through the chatbot value video and all the other sales methods that you might want to apply at your agency. And so because you're a master of those processes, you can document them and hire on people to help your agency scale effectively. So the average deal size that we see with us, as well as our students inside of Chatbot Agency Accelerator, is going to be $5,000 a month. So $5K a month is going to be what we see most of our students, including us, the average deal size when you have a team. So this is only when you have a team, right? So when you've got people that can serve, that can work for your clients and can communicate with your clients so that you can spend your time focusing on how to grow the business. $5,000 a month. So the people that you're going to be averaging at this is going to be, or I should say managing, 2+. So at this point in time, you're managing at least 2 people, right? So maybe that's a bot builder and a sales guy. We can use those 2 as the example, but we know people who have agencies with over 100 people in them, right? I mean, you probably know people yourselves. Think about Gary Vee, right? Gary Vee has a marketing agency. His agency has thousands of people all over the world in it, right? And so at this point in time, you can scale up how much ever you want, but at the end of the day, you still are playing the role of mastering the system and actually managing the business. And so the average amount of clients that we usually see an agency have is going to be 5 or more. Again, this is your deal, the level of money that you're making per deal scales up because you can more effectively service those clients, so you can charge more. At the end of the day, you have to charge more because, let's not forget, you're paying your employees to be able to service those clients, or you're paying those sales guys to keep your pipeline full. So every deal that you close is going to be a little bit higher. And then the role that you're playing is going to be the master of systems, right? You're the master of your system. That means that you've created the system, you've created all your processes, and you now spend all of your time managing that so that you can grow and scale effectively.
Exactly. So tomorrow we're going to get into more of the systems and processes stuff, but let's move on now to our third, which is going to be consulting. Now, I mentioned at the very beginning, if you just joined us, welcome, drop a hashtag live in the comments. But at the beginning, I mentioned that three of the four of these business models are on an ongoing basis. Now, consulting is the only one where typically we do this on a one-time basis, where it's about 30 days, 1 month long. And so for this, our average deal size is $10,000 for the deals. Remember, not $10,000 a month. And in terms of people to manage, typically it's just one or more. But if you're going to be the one closing these consulting deals, then you may just want one other person. And we're not going to dive super deep into what a consulting deal for chatbots looks like right now, just because we have limited time. But I do want to mention that you want to have one other person so that they can help support the team or the person that you are consulting.
Yeah, if you're just starting out, this person could and you're wanting to do consulting, obviously in order to do consulting, you need to have some experience, right? You need to be able to prove to these companies that you can come in and effectively teach and train, full knowledge transfer, full skill transfer, everything you have over to their team, and that's why they're willing to pay you $10,000 a month. So the person that you usually have to manage in this situation is either going to be a sales guy, someone who can go out and find these consulting deals for you and get those clients, or someone who can help you manage the relationship between you and that client throughout the month that you'll be consulting them with. Because like she kind of mentioned, we spend 2 days where it's real hands-on and we're training them, but then we have a whole month with each one of our consulting deals where we have an open line of communication. And so that extra person is going to really help you be able to effectively add value to those clients and keep an open line of communication.
Exactly. And to give you just one example of that, that might be like a group chat in Slack or Messenger where you can answer questions, maybe spend a few minutes a day kind of supporting them over those 30 days. All right, so next section would be number of clients. So I'd say that the average cap for this is about 5 clients a month, where you're doing these hands-on consulting deals one time with those 5 clients during a 30-day period. And finally, your role here is really an educator, right? You are educating a team or a person, an individual, on how to do everything chatbot strategy and implementation, and essentially educating them with everything that you know. So that's going to be consulting, and remember, this is more of a one-time deal rather than on an ongoing basis, but it can turn into an ongoing deal as well.
And the last role, looks like I didn't keep even there.
Don't worry, guys, it'll be in the worksheet.
Natasha's the artistic one. My handwriting's not so great. But anyways, the last business model that you have an option to go into in order to make money and profit with chatbots, and there's some sub-models of each one of these. We'll talk about that. Strategic partnerships, white label partnerships. There's a couple different ways that you can kind of add some extra resources to each one of these models to help make money, and we'll talk about those in a second here. But the last main model that you have is going to be a freelancer, right? Let's say that you're someone who doesn't want to worry about building a business, and you're not confident in your ability to build systems, to build processes, to manage a team, to be able to hire people and effectively manage those people and make sure that they're adding value to your clients. Let's say that you don't like to do a lot of the sales stuff, right? Where you're having to reach out to clients and explain why they should hire you and why your agency is the one that's going to be able to add the most amount of value to their business through a chatbot. Let's say that all that stuff kind of makes you scared and you get butterflies in your stomach when you think about that. Well, freelancer might be the option for you. That's going to be where you're only doing bot work, where you find agencies that have clients, and those agencies, they need help because they want to grow, like we talked about here, right? With the DIY agency and then to the agency team. Well, the natural transition here means that this person needs to find qualified and certified bot builders that can actually help them, that they're confident in their ability to actually be able to build out the campaigns and to communicate effectively with their agency's clients. So if that's something that you feel confident in, that you can work inside of ManyChat and you can build out the bots and maybe even communicate with clients a little bit about what you're doing for them, then this is going to be the role for you, where you're actually a freelance bot builder. And we have a couple tools with inside of our course, the Chatbot Agency Accelerator, that help freelancers. One of them is called Bot Work, a tool where you can actually list yourself for hire. So if you're a freelance bot builder, you can actually list your services on there for hire, and then agencies within inside the Chatbot Agency Accelerator can reach out to you and hire you there. So freelancer, usually what we see at this level is you're making about $1,000 per deal. So 1K per deal.
Sorry, I gotta bend down.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, guys. So 1K per deal. So this means that you're making about $1,000 every time an agency wants to hire you on to do that bot work for them. Usually on average, you're having to obviously manage no one in this situation, right? If you're a freelance bot builder, you don't have to manage a single person. You're just worrying about yourself and the agency that you're working with. You're not having to manage that agency, you're just having to manage the relationship between you and that agency. So 0 people, the amount of people that you have to manage. And then the average amount of clients that we see bot builders being able to take on. So this means that how many bots can you actually do the work for another agency? Maybe you're working for one agency, maybe you're working for multiple agencies, but how many projects are you actually capable of working on and managing at one point in time? And so we've found that the average here is about 3 to 7 clients. And again, this is through our own experience. Like, how many clients do we think that our bot builders can manage? How many clients have we seen people inside of our course be able to manage on a given month? And it usually comes down to 3 to 7. And the role that you're playing when you're at this level of a freelance bot builder is pretty simple. It's just a bot builder. That's all you're having to worry about. Again, you're not having to worry about systems. You're not having to worry about processes. You're not having to worry about sales. You're not having to worry about any of that stuff. All you're worrying about is playing your role as a bot builder.
And to take this back real quickly to the agency team, because this was something that I imagine a lot of you guys are wondering, is if you are looking to build an agency team and play this master of your system role here, well, how many clients can each of your people that you're managing take on, right, your bot builders? So this is essentially the answer to that, right? And so typically we see our bot builders as well as members of our course or people that we've trained who are freelancers be able to take on 3 to 7 clients here.
So let's kind of go back to the control chart stuff. I won't bore you guys again with some more education classes on what a control chart looks like, but why might you want to be thinking about that, right? Because how much money are each one of these models capable of given these averages, right? Let's say that all the numbers that we put up here are pretty accurate in regards to where we've kind of taken that data. So let's just assume that, right? So how much money can a DIY agency be making every single month if this all stands true? So if they're making $2,000 a month per client and they can service 5 clients, then a DIY agency is going to be making $10K per month, right? So that's how much they're capable of making until they do something different, until they figure out how to either bring on some more people, until they figure out how to add more hours in the day so they can do more work and take on more than 5 clients. You're going to be making about $10,000 a month if all of this stands true. Again, remember, you're doing everything at this level. So next, the agency team. So let's say that you actually have a team and you can actually scale. You can continue to hire people on. You can continue to take on more clients. Well, the average, again, you can have more than 5 clients a month, but for most people watching this, let's just say when you start out with a team, and let's say that you have 2 people, right? You've got 2 bot builders working for you. That means that you're doing $5,000 deals per client. You can take on, let's say, 5 clients a month, and you're the master of the system. So that's $25,000 a month at this level. And again, that number can increase with the amount of people that you manage, right? If you're managing more than 2 people and you can bring on more bot builders or maybe more salespeople, that means that you can take on more than 5 clients, which means that this number just starts to grow as you continue to be able to build out processes effectively so that when you do bring a bot builder on, all you're doing is handing him over your processes and he's able to follow that and execute so that the value is still being added to your clients so that now you can worry about bringing on more people and more clients, which is going to increase the amount of money that you can make every single month. So $25,000 a month is the average that we're seeing agencies make. Our agency right now sits between $50,000 and $70,000 a month in revenue. And again, we started up here and we've slowly made our way through all of these ways. Actually, it looked more like this. It looked more like starting the DIY agency with just the 2 of us, doing some freelance bot work, because that's what we ended up doing in the very beginning, right? Trying to figure out how to just do bot work for people, and then moving up to actually growing an agency team, and then finally consulting, which is what we do a little bit of now on a month-to-month basis. We usually have 1 or 2 consulting clients, or we're actively working with them. So let's move down to consulting. So let's say that on the consulting side of things, you're taking on deals at least $10,000 a month. That's what we've always done. We've never taken on a consulting deal for less than $10K a month. And on average, you're going to have 5 clients. So let's say that you are capable of working with 5 clients during that month. Again, that comes down to 2 days, let's say, of hands-on work, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day of you actually working with that client and their team, but then having an open line of communication throughout that month. So what we found is that on average, if you're just doing if you're just managing this by yourself, or maybe have only one other person, then you can take on 5 clients as a consulting role. So $10,000 a deal, 5 clients, that's $50,000 a month. And again, these are one-time deals. So you're not able to get another $10,000 from that client next month. That relationship pretty much ends after that first month, and now it's your job to go out and find more consulting deals. So the freelancer, the freelance bot builder, how much money can you make every month if you're just doing freelance bot building work, right? You're doing on average $1,000 deals. I mentioned bot work earlier. On that platform, we kind of give people some guidance, like how much should you be charging? And based upon the amount of money that we charge, or we have experience charging, we say $1,000 to $3,000 per deal for that freelance bot builder, because in our experience, when we've paid bot builders to come in and help our agency grow, we're paying them $1,000 to $3,000. So let's just take the low end of $1,000 per deal, right? You're getting paid $1,000 to come in and help an agency with their bot work. You can take on 3 to 7 deals. So let's say $7,000 a month is what you're able to make as a freelance bot builder. So this essentially breaks down all the different methods that you can kind of set your business up with. And we're going to go into systems and processes tomorrow, which I'm really excited about, because it'll allow you guys to look at this information and really make it actionable, really figure out, is this right for you? What do you want out of your agency? And what I mentioned earlier, actually, I'll kind of go into that right now before we get into the Q&A and answer some questions, is the other tools that I mentioned, the resources. Strategic partnerships and white label partnerships. Those are 2 really, really big ones, right?
Yes.
So strategic partnerships are going to be a relationship that you make with other agency owners or other individuals who have the skills that you don't have. So let's say that you're a chatbot only agency like us. For the last 3 years, we've only offered chatbot services. We've never done any ads other than chatbot related ads for a client. We've never done social media management. We've never done any other form of digital marketing services other than chatbot services, right? So for us, when we want to do Facebook ads, we have to reach out to an individual who's an expert at Facebook ads and make that deal happen between our client and them. And we obviously take a referral bonus or a referral cut from that deal. So again, I kind of said that, I kind of was going on right there, but if you have chatbot services and you want to offer Facebook ad services, what you would do is you would form a strategic partnership with someone who is an expert at Facebook ads, and anytime a client comes into you and wants Facebook ads, you would be able to refer them over to your strategic partner and take a deal, or take a cut from that deal, so that your client at the end of the day ends up being happy with your chatbot services and also being able to have ads run from an expert, so that you're not having to spend your time figuring out ads or any of that stuff. And that works with all services. If you want to be able to offer services that you don't have the skills to do, you can do that through forming strategic partners. We call it like our strategic referral network, right? An actual network of agencies that we have in our back pocket. So if someone wants SEO, if someone wants social media management, if someone wants Facebook ad stuff, we have someone that we can send them to, and obviously we can take a little percentage off the top as well.
All right, so I think with that, we can dive into some questions.
Yeah, I want to go over, before I do that though, I really want to dive into, oh man, we're already up at the end of our time, dang it. So white label partnerships though is another thing that I really want to touch on, because that's a tool that you can use in any one of these models essentially, is where you're actually forming partnerships with other people. They're selling your services, but the people that they're selling those services to don't know that you exist. So that agency who forms a white label partnership with you, they're paying you, and their clients are getting your services, but their clients don't know that you exist. So there's 2 different forms of partnerships that we've used that really helped us grow: strategic partnerships, white label partnerships. Sorry that I couldn't go into them in too much of detail right now. I do want to get into these questions and answer them for you guys, but I think it's important to know that those are some tools that we have used to kind of move through these different models.
Exactly, and when we're gonna send the worksheet to you guys after this, we'll also include some of those tools as well, just to give you an idea, because I know we didn't get a chance to talk about all of them, but I do want to preface that with saying that we're gonna be doing live Q&As after the boot camp, so starting this Thursday, pretty much every day until about next week, so we'll be able to answer any questions that you guys have about that.
Definitely.
So with that, we'll leave this up here for you guys if you want to make any notes, but remember, we're gonna send this to you in a worksheet, so don't worry if you missed out on the control charts from earlier, if you joined a little bit later, or if you can't fully see everything, since I know that Kyle's handwriting is not the best. But he's like, it doesn't matter, everyone has ugly handwriting.
Yeah, we were gonna make something with, on the computer and do a screen share, but it's like, you know what, I just want to get on here and be able to explain it to you guys the best I can. So
100%.
Let's jump into some questions now and make sure that everyone
Alrighty, so what we will do is
pulling up the questions right here on the computer real quick just so we can see them.
I'm gonna pull these up and let me just kind of scroll through and see. And any questions that you guys have, just drop them down below in the comments right now. And if you are watching the replay, then we will still make note of your questions and make sure to answer them on upcoming lives.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first question we got is, how many people are on the consulting level? So that is just one. Sorry, I know that might be a little bit confusing because of how it ended up showing up on the whiteboard, but this whole row right here is for consulting. So one person, one additional person, because if you're the one making the deals happen and you're going to be doing the majority of the training and consulting, it's helpful to have at least one person who could actually be a freelancer you bring on to say, hey, I just need you to answer some questions maybe about how to use ManyChat or troubleshoot, or pretty much any other part of the business that they can just support with. Because what this looks like, just to give you an idea, is we typically do like 2 days of intensive training, and then for the rest of those 30 days, we actually have like a group chat going in Slack or in Messenger or whatever messaging platform they prefer. So it's helpful to have someone else who can jump in there maybe 10, 30 minutes a day answering questions for the team or the individual that you're consulting for.
Definitely, and that number of people obviously can grow with how much you want to grow. Like we kind of talked about earlier with that control chart. Well, if you want to be making $30,000 a month as a consultant, then you're not going to be able to be do all of that on your own. You're going to have to build up a team, whether that's salespeople or people that help you effectively train those teams.
Exactly. So our next question, and actually at Junga, let us know if that answers your question. Our next question came from Alejandro, and he said, for a freelancer to make $1,000 a month, how many bot projects would you have to do for a client, and what kind of bots? And I think we can go into maybe like how we structured it for bot work.
Yeah, so that platform that we mentioned, it's for our students only, but it's called Bot Work, and we kind of structured it like this. There's 2 levels. There's basic bot builders and advanced bot builders. And we did this through our experience over the last three years of actually working with bot builders, right? We realized there's kind of 2 levels of people that we hire and want to work with. There's basic bot builders who can come in and just follow directions. They can take a process from me. They can go inside of ManyChat. They can update some flows. They can do the basic stuff inside of ManyChat. And for those deals, we're paying them about $500, let's say, on average to do that. It could be less, could be more, it just depends. But then on the advanced bot builders, that means that someone is capable of actually building out integrations inside of ManyChat, using Integromat, using Zapier, maybe using Dialogflow, and they're also able to effectively communicate with our clients. So when we bring an advanced bot builder on, we connect them with our clients, and our clients have an open line of communication with us, and when they reach out to us, those advanced bot builders are the first ones to get back to it, and so we need to be confident in their ability to communicate chatbot marketing with our clients. And so for that, we're charging anywhere from $1,000 to we're paying, I should say, $1,000 to $3,000 for that bot builder to manage one project. So I think your question you asked, what does it look like to make $1,000 for a client? So that's going to be like the bare minimum advanced bot builder, right? You should be, if you expect to be paid $1,000 a month to be able to do bot work, freelancing stuff, then you should be comfortable using Zapier. You should be comfortable using Integromat. You need to have a little bit of knowledge about Dialogflow maybe. You also need to be able to communicate effectively with clients. That's another really big one. If you can communicate with agencies, hey, listen, I can not only do all of this advanced bot work inside of ManyChat, but I can also communicate effectively with your clients. And so for that, they should have no problem paying you at least $1,000 a month. So that would just be one single client. If you wanted to make $1,000 a month at the bare minimum, you could be doing pretty basic advanced bot builder stuff for that $1,000 fee.
Yeah, so Alejandro, let us know if that answered your question.
And if you wanted to do just basic work and just update flows and listen to instructions and stuff, then you could be a basic bot builder, let's say, doing $500 deals, and that would be 2 clients.
Exactly. All right, so next question we got is from Darren, and he said, how many clients do you have actually bringing in $5,000 a month? So right now, I was talking for our agency, because we do have an agency team, and it's structured just in this way as you saw. $5,000 a month is our minimum. So all of our clients are paying us at least $5,000 a month to manage their chatbot campaigns, ultimately do the strategy, right? Determine how a chatbot should be implemented into not only their marketing, but we also look at their whole sales process as well as customer support. Each of those buckets, we call it our MSO framework. So if you are a part of our free crash course, let us know in the comments, because you probably have an idea of what I'm talking about here. But those are the 3 buckets we look at, right? So we're not truly just a marketing agency. We really are more of a chatbot agency in the sense that we approach it holistically and say, how could a chatbot benefit every part of their business strategically? So, Darren, let us know if that answers your question. Anything else you want to say about that? Or?
Yeah, no, that's
pretty much
makes sense. You know, and it might be important to note that at this point we've serviced over 100 clients. So, I mean, I think we're at like 119 at this point in time of clients that we've actually structured. And
yeah.
I think that we solidified our $5,000 a month minimum about a year ago. So it's been like a year that we've been consistently taking on clients at a minimum of $5,000 a month.
Exactly. Alrighty, next question is Anton, and he says, what are some of the best ways to get new clients in the DIY agency model? Now, you kind of touched on this earlier, talking about strategic partnerships and white label partnerships.
Yeah, definitely. So those are two real easy ways for you to go about getting clients, obviously forming partnerships. But in regards to prospecting methods, I can't stress this enough. Like, we have tried every single prospecting method in the book. Like, when we first started out, I would spend all day, 12 hours, just pumping out cold emails, thousands and thousands of cold emails every single day. I would have Excel spreadsheets with just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different businesses with their emails and different people from each business, you know, like 3 or 4 people from each business that I could send out an email to, right? Trying to get them to go through one of our demos, trying to get them to understand what a bot was, right? I thought that was an effective method back then. Then I started doing cold calling, where I would actually cold call businesses because I have a lot of experience doing sales on the phone. I would cold call businesses and try to explain to them what a chatbot was. We were even in Asia, and I would walk into local businesses and talk to the managers at restaurants, at gyms, at different breweries even, and we actually closed people from doing this in Japan and Australia. Like, I walked into the business,
like random places.
I walked into those businesses and sold them there, right? We've tried, I think, 8 different prospecting methods in total, all of them usually starting out with, like, you know, cold approaches. And hands down, the 2 methods that we think are more effective than any other method, and we haven't done any of the other methods other than these 2 in the last year, for instance, is going to be what we call a chatbot value video. This is going to be something that you actually, a video that you film for a unique business, right? So that each video is unique to the prospect that you're sending it out. And you're going to use a software like useloom.com. You're going to start at their Facebook page. You're going to start to explain, you know, and they should be able to see your face as well. You start to explain what a chatbot is, how it can help them, start to conceptualize that in their mind. And the goal of the chatbot value video is to provide so much value and so much education in a 5 to 10 minute time period that they can use that video, they can give it to their marketing team, and their marketing team can watch it. It shows ManyChat. You know, you're actually going into ManyChat in this video. You're going into the flow builder. You're showing them exactly what you're going to do and how you're going to do it for them so that they can be 100% confident in your ability to come in and actually make them money. The goal of that video is to really provide so much value that their own marketing team could watch the video and do it themselves. And at the end of the day, 30% of the people that you send a chatbot value video to are most likely going to do that. They're going to take that information and they're going to show their marketing team. The marketing team's going to be like, wow, I didn't know that this chatbot stuff existed. They're going to go to ManyChat. They're going to join some chatbot groups. They're going to figure this all out on their own and start doing it themselves. That's fine, because the other 70% of the people that do reach back to you and say, oh my gosh, this is amazing. No one's ever contacted me like this before. You know, how can we continue working with you, or how can we get started working with you guys? Because you spent so much time, and you're not spending so much time. It's about 30 minutes total, let's say on the high end, of time that it takes for you to go about the process of filming a chatbot value video. But you took that extra time to show them that exactly how you're going to come in and help their business, right? Through that video. And again, you want to provide so much value that they can take that video and do it themselves if they wanted. But if you do a good enough job, the feeling that they should have at the end of watching that video is, oh my gosh, it's a no-brainer, I need to work with these guys. So I would say that, as well as the gunslinger method. That's another method that I came up with. That's where I walk into the business. And I call it the gunslinger method because, you know, you pull out your phone like a 6-shooter, right? And you use your phone to squash all of their objections and show them exactly what a chatbot is and how it can help their business. And through the Gunslinger method, you want to make sure that you have a business that's in the same industry as the person that you're talking to. So if you're going into a restaurant, let's say, you want to make sure that you have a restaurant bot that you've built ready to pull up so that you can show them and walk them through that. So those two methods are going to be hands down the most effective way to go about getting clients, the chatbot value video and the Gunslinger method. I like to think about it, the analogy I always like to think about is like, fishing versus bow hunting, right? Like let's say that you're a fisherman and you go out to the ocean, you cast like a really big net, right? That's kind of like cold email or cold calling or any one of these approaches where you're just sending like templated sales approaches to everyone. That's like casting a big net. You pull that net in, and there's a bunch of shitty fish. There's like rocks and stuff that you didn't even want, and now you're angry and you've got all this stuff on your bow. Well, a bow hunter, he goes out, he hunts down like one stag or one deer, right? For a long time, he's following up. He pulls back that bow. Here's the chatbot value video. That's where you pull this back and you fire it, and you know it's going to go right into that heart, and you're going to get them as a client. So that's kind of like how I think about all cold approaches where the traditional form where you're just sending thousands of messages that are the same exact message to businesses, and the difference between actually sending a personalized video that shows this business exactly how you as an agency are going to come in and help them make more money.
100%. So I know we have a lot of questions that you guys are dropping in the comments. We are going to make note of all of these and make sure we answer them. If not, during the rest of the bootcamp, for sure in the upcoming live Q&As that we have. And we'll also go in and kind of give you guys some answers in the comments as we can. And if you're watching the replay, make sure to still drop your questions in the comments because we will make note of all of those. Tasha, our amazing marketing assistant, not to be confused with me, will be making a note of all of these for us so we can make sure we get to all of your questions. But with that, we're out of time. So if you're watching the replay, I hope you're enjoying this. And if you have been joining us live, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to educate yourself on all of this, right? And learn a little bit more about how you want to approach the chatbot industry, or even like the roadmap you want to create for yourself, right?
And let us know if this was helpful, we've been spending the last 2 years educating people on this stuff and figuring out new strategies on our own. We've been growing with our community for the last 2 years as well, right? And so I want to make sure that this stuff is as valuable to you as I think that it is, because at the end of the day, I sit here and I can come up with this stuff and figure out what type of information do they need? What type of information would have helped me accelerate a lot faster when we were first getting started? And I think that if I would have understood these 4 models right here and tried to figure out how much money do I want to be making every month? How much work do I want to be putting into this every month? What types of roles do I want to actually be playing? Do I want to do sales? Do I want to do the bot building? Do I want to be a master of systems and be able to actually scale up an agency that I can sell or automate everything? A lot of people just think about wanting to pop a beer and sit on the beach and not work and do anything, right? Like, I gotta be honest with you, like that model does not exist. Like if you're looking for like the get rich quick, like you're just gonna start an agency and be able to sit on a beach and drink beer and not work, like, that really doesn't exist. Like you can pull that off with a DIY agency. If you're working with 2 or 3 clients a month and you're charging them $2,000 or $3,000, like, that's $6,000 to $10,000 a month. Like that's enough money for you to be able to travel to an Asian country maybe and pop a beer and sit on the beach, like no doubt. But at the end of the day, like you're still gonna have to be doing work for those clients. You're just not gonna have to be doing a lot of work. So it's really important for you to understand, what do you want? How much money do you want? How much work do you want to be putting in? And I think that if you look at these 4 models here, you'll start to have an understanding of what that looks like for you. So please let us know in the comments, was this helpful for you? And if it was helpful for you, let me know. Which one of these models are you wanting to pursue yourself? Which one makes the most sense to you? Do you want to play a consultant role? Do you want to play a freelancer role? Do you want to start building a team as an agency? Or do you want to have your own agency where you're handling everything on your own?
Exactly. So the worksheet we're going to share with you guys will also help you make that decision for yourself. But definitely let us know in the comments your thoughts overall on this session, since this is the first live series we've done in a bit as well. So I'm stoked to see. At one point we had like over 100 people. I think we had like 111 people live. I sat down really quickly to take a screenshot of it, so I was like, oh man, that's awesome. So I think that's the most people we've had live on a series. So thank you to all of you guys who came out. Make sure to check your emails and Facebook messages in the coming like 30-ish minutes. We're going to drop the replay link for you guys if you need to come and revisit this. This will be available until October 24th at 8 p.m. PST, so make sure to rewatch this if you've gotten a little bit late before then, and you'll also get this worksheet in case you came in late.
And definitely don't forget to show up to tomorrow. I am a systems and processes nerd, like hands down the most the one thing that helped us grow from making a few $1,000s a month to making $70,000 a month, hands down, was our ability to build our business on a foundation of systems and processes so that we could scale efficiently. So that's what we're going to be going over tomorrow. What is this system? How do you go about setting one up? We're going to kind of give you enough information so that you can go about building your own system, and we're actually going to give you our agency system, everything that we have in our agency system. You'll be able to see exactly what our agency system looks like, and if that's something that you would want to replicate in your agency as well.
100%. So with that, we're going to jump off. Thanks for joining us. Have an amazing rest of your Monday or Tuesday, wherever you are in the world. And make sure to join us tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Same thing as today. We're going to do about 30 minutes. Get the value in as quickly and efficiently as we can and get to the rest of your questions.
Yeah, man, that time flies. I can't believe that.
All right, guys. So you need to go over there and jump it up because we did it on his phone. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your Monday.